Listener's discretion is advised for this episode contains the mentions of clowns. For anyone who suffers from coulrophobia, I hope I said that right, this is your trigger warning.
Fear comes to us in rushes. Sometimes we can be afraid of getting kidnapped, killed, getting into a car accident, even something as dressing up as your favorite cartoon for Halloween can lead to tragedy. In today's episode, we will go down a dark rabbit hole of murderous clown. Happy October.
You're muted.
You can still hear me, right? I
think you're probably too close.
I love you. Oh, Hi, my loves.
Hello, baby cheeks.
I hope you have your drinks ready for today's episode.
I sure do. I'm ready with my homemade frappuccino my daughter made for me. What do you have over there?
I'm drinking on some tea tonight.
You're always drinking tea.
Yeah, I love tea. Oh, God.
All right. Does anyone remember when the hoax of the clowns took place?
I remember hearing about it, but I'm not too informed on the topic.
Okay, so this clown hoax that went around took place in 2016, that year of Halloween. But before I jump into that, I just want to give some background on how clowns have been no joke from the very beginning, okay?
I hate clowns. I mean, I'm not hate them. I can't say I hate them because people do got a profession and they gotta feed themselves in order to survive. And sometimes, entertaining kids can be, something like that. So, can give you food on the table and stuff like that. So, yeah, but I don't hate clowns, but I do find them creepy,
I don't like anything that covers his face. I know there's a phobia for it, but I'm not sure what the name is. But if I can't see your face, I don't like it.
You told me that. You said that. I remember the time you told me that, I'm not gonna go to Disney because I can't. Well, I would go to Disney, but I wouldn't look at the people with the mascot. The faces, the Mickey Mouse with the.
Yeah.
You said
you're looking at me through the mouth instead of your eyes when I'm looking at you at your feet and your eyeballs. Like, no, I don't know if you're looking at me or that's just where your head is turned to. Like, I don't like it. I ain't with it. But back in the days, back in 1990, right, there was this movie called It that was released. And then 2017, the sequel came out. But before
I never really liked it.
Well, I saw the sequel. I never saw the original. To me, the original face of that man, it was more scary than the sequel one. But before there was even It, there was this man who was birth name is John Wayne Gray. He is known as an infamous murderer from back in 1970s, best known as the clown murderer. John went by the names of Pogo the Clown and Patches the Clown. He used to obviously dress up as a clown at hospitals or charitable events. During his off time, he was going around murdering young men and boys, killing a total of 33 innocent people. His targets were males who were either 33, not 10, not 12, 33. Okay.
Wow.
And he went after males who were either public about their sexuality and being gay, or if he suspected them being gay. So you wasn't safe if in his, thought process.
Point of view.
Yeah, you weren't safe. He would lure his victims to his house and offer them something to eat and drink while trying to convince them to watch gay porn with them. If I'm not mistaken, that's the information I picked up. I hope I'm not mistaking it with a different murderer. Personally, I think that this era of being scared of clowns, like this is where everything started back in the 1970s,
Yeah.
I can remember growing up and my mom has this fear of clowns. And it's not clowns like if she sees them dressed up, like It's so bad that, back in the days, your grandma, your great grandmas, like they used to have figurines filling up the whole entire house. My
Oh
grandmother,
yeah, with those droopy clown heads and stuff like that.
my grandmother
Like
used to have clown figurines in her house, and my mother would turn them around because they cannot look at her while she was sitting on my grandma's couch.
I had a doll like that. Like I remember my mom had a doll that would sit on our bedstand and it always looked at me. And like at night I would have to turn her around to face the other way.
Yeah,
And she
no.
was part of the lamp. So
No.
I totally get what your
I
mom
dislike
felt.
those porcelain dolls, right? My mom used to
Yeah,
have that.
yeah.
Okay, my mom hated the clowns, right? But she used to have those. Excuse me, I'm sorry, guys. I took medication, so just in case my words are slurred, I'm not there. If I am there, if I'm overdoing it, if just ignore me. Hear me, but ignore me.
Yeah, ignore her.
Just in case. But my mom, like when living in New York, you have these long hallways, and I think the hallway was, I'm not even over exaggerating, maybe 30 feet long. It was really long. You could ride a bike in the hallway. And the hallway was the size of the apartment itself. So it was a 3-bedroom. So just imagine each room is probably about like 15 by 15. So that's like 45. Okay, whatever. Anyways, so she used to have this whole section at the end of the hallway with porcelain dolls on top of a bookshelf.
Oh,
And
yeah.
my room was past that. Okay. And I would have to walk that. And my mom had this thing that she hate having lights on in the house. And the hallway light would be off. So I'm walking and I was literally like keep my head down looking to the ground because the last thing I wanted to do was have eye contact with any of those porcelain dolls.
Oh my gosh, imagine the terror you would feel if you actually heard, like Chucky.
Oh, no, thank you. I'm okay. Anyways, let me get back to this. Okay.
Woo,
So
okay.
my mom had this only fear of clowns, and she was born in the early 1960s. Okay. So I could just imagine that maybe hearing about him in the 1970s is what probably played a big fear on her being scared. Not to the extent to get rid of porcelain dolls, but the whole clown aspect in itself. In 1990, the movie version of It, starring Tim Curry, may his soul rest in peace, was first released. Anybody born in the early to mid 80s knew about this film and went out of their ways to see it because it was one of the first kinds of scary movies, And I was told, I was told it was one of the scariest movies at that time or whatever. But my mom, she banned me from watching it because she was scared. So she didn't want me watching anything that had to do with it. And up to this day, I have not seen it. I have not watched it. I don't have an urge. Nothing makes my bones tickle to want to see this movie. Like I'm just like set in my own ways. I'm not watching it.
I saw the remake of it, but I
Yeah.
never really sat and saw. I never was interested in it, like the clown.
Exactly.
I was never interested in it, like at all.
Exactly. Before I gave my life to Christ, I used to watch so many scary movies. I used to watch so many. And that movie never caught my attention. I never sat down and was like, I want to see this movie. Like it just went right over my head. Right over like nothing.
Yeah, same here. Like it never caught my attention.
But let me see. My friends, they did. Like all the friends that I had like growing up in my teenage years, they're like, you never seen the movie? And I was like, nope. And they were just like astonished because, growing up, it's like you had to see Scarface. You had to just watch. If you didn't watch it, it was like, who the heck are you? If you never watched Bronx Tales, it was like, who are you? Like, why are you not watching this? And if you never seen it, that was it. I did see the first two, but it was not one of those movies that, no. And in case other people did not see it themselves. All right. The movie is focused on this evil demon that disguises itself as a clown, going around town killing kids in order to stay alive. But a group of outcast teenagers reunite 30 years later in an attempt to kill the clown once and for all. And in case anybody's wondering how I know this, I Googled it because I did not I did not watch this movie, again, just putting it out there. But in 2017, exactly 27 years later, and supposedly, coincidentally, the second chapter of It was released. This film is basically the updated version from the previous one. If you ask me, the release of this movie came out just in time, especially with what took place last year this very season. The second chapter became a huge success thanks to everyone that went to go see it. So everybody, like the generation of before, went to see version 1, and everybody of my generation
Went to see the second one.
went to go see the second one.
Okay.
That one I saw. I did not see it when it first came out. I think I saw it maybe 2 years ago.
I didn't even know there was a second one. I thought it was just it and that was it.
No, there's two. There's the Pennywise one, the one that everybody like is dressing up as now.
Oh,
and then there's an
okay,
older
okay.
version, and that was by Tim Curry. He was the actor. He's also the first version of the Grinch.
Okay, that explains why people were, okay.
Pennywise was everywhere.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, but to get into the topic of today, which is the clown hoax of 2016, I'm gonna read a little bit.
Okay.
But back in 2016, a low-budget filmmaker in Wisconsin had people dressing up throughout the town as a way to get free promotion of the film. They would literally hang out at bus stops, dark corners, alleyways, but it was purely innocent. It was just to make people become curious as to why there were so many clowns or so many people dressed up as clowns hanging around. Okay, but word began to spread out and just took over the US of A, Canada, and other locations. To the point that people were paranoid, they were petrified, they were calling the cops and letting them know about sightings. But most of the time, there was also other people just reporting fake sightings of these clowns. And if the real clowns were spotted, they didn't get arrested because they weren't doing anything. So what started out as just free promotion for a low-budget movie that nobody really knew about became one of the most scariest times of the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember when they were talking about this and on when they were talking about it and on the news and stuff like that. Like, I couldn't go out. My mom wouldn't allow us to go out and trick or treat that year.
Well, I had stopped trick or treating back in 2009. I don't celebrate Halloween anymore, but I was scared for those who still took part in it. I honestly, I was worried. If I'm not mistaken, I think it rained or snowed that Halloween, and I was rejoicing. Okay.
Well, I had to accompany my sister to door to get her candy because at that time I was too old for trick or treating, anyways. So I was like,
don't let the people hear you say that, because there's a lot of people who still trick or treat and they're older than you.
I know that, but back in my time, back in my days, it was odd for us older generation to go out trick or treating. Okay. Yeah, because people used to make fun of you when you were old and going out trick or treating and stuff like that. Like, I remember when I did it one year, even though I was like hitting my, my stage of being old, I guess you could say, to trick or treat. This lady looked at me and was like, "You're too old."
For my second pregnancy, I was dressed as a ladybug. Okay, and my daughter was a ladybug, and my husband was a monk. Okay. And we went trick or treating. He even had like the ball cap with the hair on the side and everything. He was a monk.
Oh my god.
That was the second to last year that I did it. And then when my son was born, I didn't dress up, but he was Scooby-Doo and my daughter was Daphne.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
That was 2009. That was the last time.
Last time I did anything associated with Halloween would be when I was dressing up to scare people, and it was just mostly kids because I would end up making them cry, because of my costume.
Oh, no.
But that was the last time I trick-or-treated.
I was never anything scary. And I don't believe I even wore costumes, to be honest with you, as growing up. I think they were always like homemade, like I'll have like Minnie Mouse ears, and my mom would just like paint my nose to look like a mouse type of thing, or it was never anything major. But when I was pregnant, I was a legit ladybug. Like, I had the stockings, the wings, everything, all of it. But let me jump back into this because,
I'm sorry. I just felt
it's fine. No, but this started out to be something that was innocent, just to, in case we regulate you guys. Started out something innocent just for free promotion. And next thing you know, it became like, I don't want to say a terror attack, but it became something really bad. Like, people were utilizing it to disguise their looks to do evil intent towards people. There was robbing being done. People were being chased on the street. Some people even got stabbed. Okay. So that's how bad it had gotten, to the point that if you were dressed as a clown for Halloween, automatically you was arrested. In the beginning, when everything first started in Wisconsin and people were dressed up, it was just like, hey, sir, what are you doing out here? And they're like, oh, we're just selling balloons. But then it just did this whole big switcheroo where it was like that year, if you were caught, you got arrested. And little did we know that in 2017, chapter 2 of It was being released.
That's crazy.
But it's a coincidence because in 2016, there was a man that was working on his own clown version of a movie. And the clown was a bad clown as well. So there was some people that were speculating that this was something that Hollywood did, but that was not the case. This was literally just a man trying to promote his movie, getting the town curious so that they could go to the town's fair and watch his movie release. But a year later, chapter 2 of It came out, and everybody forgot what we went through in 2016, because there was a lot of Pennywise that came out in 2017. So
wow, that's crazy.
I remember I was scared. I did not send my kids to school. Because I was so worried. Like, my kids take the bus. So it was just like, God forbid something like that was to happen, Normally, I don't even send them out. Normally, I keep them home only because we don't participate in that particular holiday. And
I remember watching things on social, like when media started to become started to get up there, I remember watching YouTube, I believe, of the people that would the Vine videos. Those Vine videos that used to go out all over the place, They used to do where people would dress up as clowns and would literally stand on the side of the road with a butcher knife, and would just stand there and wait for somebody to pass by and then literally chase them.
Yes.
And it was hilarious because I found
it was hilarious to the people watching it, because I bet you whoever was being chased didn't find it to be key funny,
I know, but when I was watching it, it was so hilarious the way they made the video, But it never occurred to me that they probably wanted to kill those people, like literal murder intent, and they were catching it on video. I never thought of it like that,
I hope that wasn't the case,
Hopefully it wasn't, but with what was going on,
Yeah. I remember I watched this video. There was a girl. I don't know where she's at now. I don't even know the name or nothing like that, but she did a lot of videos with her brother. And they were of Asian descent. I'm not sure if they were Korean, Japanese. I know they were from Asian descent. Okay. And it was this little girl. Well, she wasn't so little. She was probably 12, 13 years old, but her brother was probably 16, 17. And they would always do skits together all the time. And in one of them, the brother scared the living life out of her. Okay, I think she was dead at the end of the freaking thing, because they pulled up at either a stop sign or it was a red light. And then this clown came out of nowhere and started attacking the car. And the brother, going along with it because he knew, So instead of him pulling away and all this stuff, he pretended to be frozen. So he was just not driving. And then the clown is trying to open up the door, and the girl went from the passenger seat in the front all the way to the back. And it was only a 2-row car. It was a 4-door.
Okay.
But she skidded herself all the way to the back. And she's and somehow the clown got in the car.
Oh my God.
And started reaching for her.
I'm
telling you, that night I would have been the only child. After they would have had to resuscitate me back to life, I would have been the only child.
People die of fear like that.
That's what I'm saying.
I would die if you're scared enough. If your body is in fear mode, you can literally die.
Yeah, literally. And I'm telling you, that would have been me.
Oh my God.
God would have been like, yo, Melissa, I'm not ready for you. I'm not ready for you. Go. I would have came back and I would have been like, it's your turn to be Jesus. And he would have had to go.
I would have died. I would have resuscitated myself. And the afterlife came back, beat up my brother.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, you're going to go visit Jesus now. But I remember that year was so scary. I'm sorry. There is nothing anybody can tell me to change my mind. I had stopped already celebrating Halloween 2009, 16, still 7 years already. I had already stopped. But that day,
really.
I was really like, Lord, cancel Halloween. And it wasn't even for personal wants, you know what I'm saying? I was just so scared that things were going to happen to people that it's just not worth it.
Yeah, they took it too far, and I can always say, like, people have a bad habit of ruining it for the rest of us. You know, like you
Always.
do one thing and then it just.
It's that saying that they be like, oh, I give you my arm, you take my leg. Or I give you a mile, I give you an inch, you take a mile. People know how to do that. Like, they just don't know how to just
enjoy what they have.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
Oh, you giving me this inch? Let me play in the inch. Let me, exasperate myself, if that's a word. I don't even know. But like, let me just do this, like, let me enjoy this. And then, you know what, next time I'll get 2 inches. But no, they be on some pasándose, like, oh no, he said I could have a candy. And next thing you know, they're stealing your freaking bowl. And it's just like, dude, just take that one candy, like they never just know how to stay within that limit, that boundary. But I was praying, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think it rained or it snowed out here. And basically, like, Halloween was canceled because it was like a bad snow. And I was so happy. I was like, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Because I was just worried about what was going to happen. But for nothing, because they ended up trick-or-treating the next day.
Yeah.
But it's like, what? As long as all the clowns are home, we're good.
Yeah, right?
Keep the clowns at bay.
Come to think of it, I've never seen any, like, I'm personally over here, I haven't seen any clowns, come to the door since, that whole hoax thing happened, so.
They might be coming now. You're calling them out. They're like, oh, they want to see us? Okay, we're going to go over there. No, I don't want to see you skip.
Right? Like, go somewhere over there. I don't want to.
Yeah.
No, but I for now, like, I don't celebrate it. I don't know whether a celebration would mean, like, giving candy to the little kids that come. But I feel like if you made an effort to, put your costume on, because these kids don't know anything,
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, since it's so exciting and they want to go out and take a tree and, knock on my door, I'm like, okay, here you go, a piece of candy, So I was doing that, and then automatically I stopped. So all I really do probably would just decorate my centerpiece for the season, in the holidays, because now it is, a holiday. So that's basically what I do.
I don't participate. What? I don't participate. There you go.
Completely in it, yeah.
In anything. Like, I do, because I don't let my kids go trick-or-treating and stuff like that. One thing that we do buy candy, but I don't buy it even if it has like Halloween things on it. Like, give me a regular Kit Kat, don't give me a Halloween Kit Kat.
With the little spooky thing,
yeah, I don't buy anything with it on it. No reason behind it. I just feel like that's a Halloween candy. I want regular candy. Like, that's the only reason behind it. It's not a religion thing. It's just me. I don't want that one. I want plain one.
Yeah. I don't want the ghost on my candy.
Yeah, keep Frankenstein over there. Like, I'm good. Give me the boring adult one. So we buy that, and not too much, just enough so they could be able to have candy. And then I watch Hocus Pocus, and I watch The Nightmare Before Christmas.
I love Hocus Pocus. I can't wait until the second one comes out. I'm waiting for that.
It comes out like in this Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, but this
Friday coming out.
Really? The 30th?
I think.
Oh,
so.
but this podcast is gonna be. Yeah, like the.
Okay, they are September 30th, I believe. It's gonna drop.
Okay, so this podcast is gonna be the day after.
No, this drops on actual before this comes.
I thought it was the first.
No, girl. Anyways, read your questions, girl. Read your questions.
Okay, loves, I have some questions for you. What are your fears? Do you remember what you were doing in 2016?
Let us know down in the comment section below, or send us an email. We have our links in the description box. Excuse me. We would love to hear your responses. Well, that's all for now. Thank you for tuning in into Chitty Chat Chit Chat Podcast.
Bye.